Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabel and this is my library. In today's video, I bring you my reading journal update for the month of May. So here we are again. Another successful reading month has passed and it is time for me to sit down, relax a little bit, and update my reading journal. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me in this relaxing video of getting the chance to jot down all the wonderful things I read in the month of May. So as usual, I'd like to start off by updating my reading list with all the books that I read in the month of May. And I'll go ahead and start off with the first thing I read all the way until I reach the very last book I read in the month of May. So as I'm adding this, I'll go ahead and kind of speed you through it, and then I'll highlight a little bit of some of my favorite reads for the month. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and added all of the 9 books that I read in the month of May, and I'll go over them very quickly, but for my complete thoughts on these books, please make sure that you check out my wrap-up video. So the first thing I was able to finish in the month of May was The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King, and I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Tiny Threads by Lilium Rivera, gave it 3 stars. Then I read Frida McFadden's new release, The Tenant, and gave it 4 stars. In addition, if you'd like to see my complete thoughts and a live discussion that I had with 2 booktube friends that I did a buddy read with, you can check out that live video on my channel, and that does include all of our spoilery commentary. Then I read Real Account Volume 6 by Okushu, gave it 4 stars. Then I read Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead by Jenny Hollander, and sadly only gave that 2 stars. Then I read The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, gave it 4 stars. Ghosts of the Unknown by Christopher Maynard, gave it 3 stars. Black Card's Choice by J.D. Midnight, and gave that 4 stars. And then lastly, Spy Family Volume 3 by Tatsuya Endo, gave that 4 stars. I did put my number 47, and I could put 48, because since the filming of this video, I have finished 2 books within the first and second day of June, but I will not add that now. I will update that later on this month. So continuing, it is time for us to fill out the Goodreads challenge, focusing on the various genres that I read this month. So for this, again, I will be using my Papermate dual end flare pens, which has the flare tip on one side and then the brush on the other. These are wonderful for this. So I'll go ahead and start with The Eyes of the Dragon. So that is actually a fantasy book, and again, I did read this at the beginning of the month, And I also have a video where I share with you my complete thoughts on The Eyes of the Dragon. This was a buddy read I did with my husband, and we have a video together in which we talk about our feelings on that book. And I'll go ahead and make sure I tag that video for you in the description box for easy access if you're interested. Then I read Tiny Threads, which is pretty much like, maybe it's like a horror. It can also count as like maybe a thriller, although it wasn't super thrillery. So I am going to put it under horror, I think. Then we have The Tenant, which of course is a thriller. Then we have Real Account Volume 6, which is a manga. Then I read Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead, which I think would classify as a thriller. Again, I didn't find this thriller to be very thrillery, but that's what it is marketed as. So we'll go ahead and put that as a thriller. Then we have The Cabin at the End of the World, which I think is also a thriller. Then we have World of the Unknown Ghosts, and this is pretty much a non-fiction work. So it's going to be this one. Yeah, it's this one. Then we have Black Card's Choice, which is kind of, I would say, erotica, which I don't really have for that category. And it's that same author I read last month, and I know I struggled with what to put it as. It's also a game book in a way because it is a choose your own adventure book. So I think I'm going to do romance and game book. I think that's how I'm going to code it. That other book by that same author, I did fantasy and romance because that's what it kind of was. And again, these are just genres that I do not read often. So I'm going to double code that as a game book that is also romance, but it is something I normally don't read. So we'll code that. Two colors that I read, Spy Family, and that was a manga. So we'll color that one in. That takes me to 46 books that I have read so far this year. Just making sure it is the same number there and that everything adds up nicely. Okay. So we're doing pretty good on my Goodreads challenge so far this year. I'm reading widely, reading enough, and getting close to fulfilling my goal. So I don't think I was able to complete any of these 25 and 25. I don't think I did any of these either. And there are plans in place, guys. There are plans in place to help me with this, okay? Shout out to my best friend Angela, because she's one book at a time helping me accomplish this. But I will make a dent. I promise, guys. I'll make a dent on this. So now I'm going to go ahead and update my ABC challenge. So I'll go ahead and get to writing those titles down. And yeah, I'll speed you through this and we'll reconvene once I'm done with that. So here we go. right, guys, so I went ahead and updated the ABC challenge. Some of these letters are getting really full, and then there are other letters that I've made zero progress on. My T already has 7 different books. My S as well, especially with the Spy Family. I've read 1, 2, 3 Spy Family books. So same thing with R, with Real Account 3, 4. Real Account 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's getting a little bit full. But yeah, as we get closer to the year, I'll see if I can strategically fill in some of these blanks. All right, so time for my Shelfie. So I'm gonna go ahead and for my Shelfie, use my Tombow markers, which you guys know I absolutely love. So again, these are absolutely wonderful, guys. If you've thought of getting them, wondered if you should get them, I have an entire video where I review these. So if you're curious, this is the 108 Tombow set, and there's a video up on my channel where I tell you all my thoughts and I swatch all the colors. But spoiler alert, I love them. I think they're wonderful. All right, so time to complete the Shelfie. So what I try to do is kind of match a little bit the cover of the book with the marker I'm using to color in the book. And I'll go ahead and start using those. And then to fill in the titles, I will go ahead and use the Stabilo 0.88 fine liner to add the titles. So I'll go ahead and start working on that now, and I'll speed you through that and catch you up. All right, guys, and there you have it. My colorful Shelfie has been updated, and it's looking great. So next is the Buzzwordathon. So I'm looking through my titles. I don't think I read anything with the word truth and lies. I don't think I read anything with the word thing. Nothing with the word memory. No word that is an event. And no word never. All right, so no updates for the buzzword, but I'm still doing okay, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm halfway there. So I do need to make sure that I read a couple things that can fulfill some of these. All right, so for this one, I did note that there's a couple things I was able to figure out. So this is the buzzword portion of the challenge, which is based on covers. So I know I used Real Account Volume 3 for technology, and I'm going to use Volume 6 for technology as well, because this cover also has a cell phone on it, and I do have space in all of these for 2 books. I know it's not really cheating, but I'm using, the same series, but it is a different book, so I think we're good. But it's just kind of difficult to find something with technology on the cover. And then for weapons, I am using Spy Family 3, seeing as she does have her little weapon there, her dagger or whatever it is that she has in her hand. And that will count for weapons. And again, if if you're new to my channel or this is the first time you're watching my videos, I do pre-plan and cut out my little stickers beforehand to kind of smooth this process out for you, but I do print all of those out with my Canon Ivy, which I have shown in other videos. So if you're interested, I'll link down in the comments other videos, or you can just watch the playlist for all my journaling videos, and I do show you all my supplies in a lot of those videos. So I went ahead and updated those, and I'm still missing something with eyes on the cover, but I have a solution for that because I will be doing a read of a book with an eye on the cover with my best friend this month. You'll see that now in a few spreads. So plans to get this one done. And once I do this one, I will have completed all of them. I would love to have an extra weapon, an extra celestial pattern, and an extra eyes, but everything else has two. So I feel like this is coming along beautifully. I think I've been able to complete this challenge. So for TBR book recommendations, I did finish reading Tiny Threads, and I'm going to go ahead and update that now. So I did give this a 3-star, so I'll update that here. And again, I have mentioned it before, but if you're new here, I do subscribe to the TBR book recommendations, and I believe it's 3 times a year. So I think it's every 4 months or so. I do get a set of book recommendations from an expert who looks over my interest form and who looks over my Goodreads, and they recommend certain books to me. And so these were the ones I got in December 2024 that I was still working on. Now I did get a new set of recommendations at the very ending of March, which I really got them in April, but I had not added them. I was trying to finish these 3 before I started that, but I am going to add those now. So I am still going to label it March because it is a March subscription. March 2025. My 2 came out ugly. I'll go ahead and white out that little piece there. So March 2025, and I have a new set of recommendations that I just recently received, and those recommendations were as follows. So it's a really cool service, by the way. If any of you are interested in trying it out, I will probably do something with this in my channel at some point. I'm thinking of creating content around that, doing a reading vlog where I read all 3 of the selections, or something like that. But it's wonderful. Your little questionnaire, you update your Goodreads and give them access to all of that information, and they really study your tastes, and they recommend to you books that they feel you might love, like you might find your next favorite book. And the cool thing that I do is I do specify in my questionnaire that I'm first I let them know I'm a bibliophile. I also let them know that I am on booktube, so I do know a lot of books. So my request from them is that whatever they recommend to me is not something that is on my radar, And the way that they know that is through my Goodreads. So I do tell them to please give me something that is not already on my TBR for my Goodreads. So I find that incredibly useful. I've discovered so many wonderful books through that recommendation service. And yeah, I think it's really, really cool. So if you've ever wondered what that's like, you might give it a shot and try it out for a month. This video is not sponsored by them. I wish I were sponsored by them, but I am not. But I just think it's a really cool little thing. So in my latest letter from them, they recommended me At the Bottom of the Garden by Camilla Bruce, Mask of the Deer Woman by Lori L. Dove, and Killer Potential by Hannah Deach. If you've read any of these, let me know. None of these were on my radar until I got that recommendation, and now they are, and I'm excited to read them. My last few ones weren't great. You know, the last round I got The Night of the Storm recommended to me, 3 stars. Tiny Threads, 3 stars. Brat, however, was a 4-star, and that was a really good book. I really enjoyed my reading experience with Brat, so I'd say that was the winner out of that set. All right, so now I'm going to move on to Read the Rainbow Challenge, and this one's almost completed. So I am going to be including 2 books for this one, and I'm going to be including for pink, I'm going to be including The Tenant, and for orange, I will be including The Eyes of the Dragon. And then that leaves me only with fuchsia. That is the only color missing from Read the Rainbow Challenge. So I feel this has been pretty successful. And I do want to bring this down a little bit because this is going to bother me if I'm not able to do this right. So let me see if I can salvage this and move it down a little bit, because for some reason it doesn't line up. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one down to match right over here. And then I'm going to bring out, oh, this should have been underneath that. Not sure I can overlap that one. I'll go ahead and put my orange sticker here. Let me get my eraser. And these stickers are pretty good, guys. I find that most of the time they stick very well, and you can reuse them a lot of times, and they don't tear your pages or whatnot. I want to put a little bit of tape there. I find that they're wonderful. I'll tape that down. There we go. Perfect. So this page is done. I love it. I think it looks so good. And now I'm going to put my pink one over here. And there we have it. And then I'm going to get my pink little sticker and probably put it right on top of here. So all I am missing from this page is that fuchsia color. And I'm sure I will get that before the end of the year. But this is looking so, so good. This keeps flipping up. All right, so that's my Read the Rainbow challenge. So for my TBR jar, I did pick 2 more selections during my last TBR video, and I keep meaning to have my husband pick 3 more as well, so that I have 3 that are kind of up in the air for me to read, and then he'll have 3 options. So I'm gonna go ahead and have him do that in my next TBR video. So stay tuned for the TBR for June. I'll have him pick 3 of those on camera so I can add them to here and add them to my challenge. So for the book troop, I am not caught up. So I've read January, February, and March. Unfortunately, I have not read April or May just yet, but I will. I do have to update though. Gabby from Gabby Reads, who runs the book troop, did announce that, as usual, her July pick will be the newest Riley Sager. It's kind of what she does every year for July, and I'm happy because I want to read all of the book troop picks and I want to read all the Riley Sagers. So it's pretty much a win-win. Okay, so let me go ahead and lay this down right here and then erase my little hand-drawn boxes and make sure it all lines up. Perfect. So that's updated. February, still haven't read. I did read You Are Fatally Invited, 5 stars, so good. These are the Literally Dead book club picks that Kayla runs from Books and Lala. April was The Inheritance. Spoiler alert, I'm currently in the middle of this and really liking it. I think it's excellent. I am behind though, haven't read the May selection. I do know June will be this and July will be that, which is great because usually they do that. July for these 2 book clubs from 2 favorite booktubers is usually the Riley Sager. So I'll be able to read that and complete both of the book club picks. So excited for that. Still don't know what these others will be. I'm falling behind, guys. Read Christie 2025. Falling behind. So I've read 2 of them this year out of the 12. I have everything here set up. Hopefully I can squeeze one in June. But you guys already know, so many books to read, so little time. But here we are, the TBR Tarot card game. So I did choose a book which has the word dead in the title, and I finally read it. Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. That is the good news. The bad news, however, is that I didn't love it. It was only a 2-star for me. So I'm going to go ahead and update this very quickly. I'm going to update it with my 2 stars. There we go. And excitingly enough, I get to pick a new one. I get to pick a new card for the TBR Tarot card game. So let me go ahead and give these kind of a shuffle. These are very hard to shuffle. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them. And again, I just absolutely love everything that has to do with completing challenges or playing games and get me to read more things from my shelf. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pick this one. Choose a book which has children pictured on the cover. All right, challenge accepted. So this will be the next one. I'm going to go ahead and tape it down with some washi tape. It's normally what I do. Love this beautiful washi from Simply Gilded, one of my favorite washi brands. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here, guys, and I will peruse my shelves, think a little bit, and in my TBR or video of possibilities for June, I will have picked something, and then I will eventually update that with the pick. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to choose a book which has children or a child pictured on the cover, and I think I can do that. Alrighty. So next we have the Blurb game, and I was able to complete a few things here, I believe. Let's see. Okay. Let me try and find. All right, so we're going to go ahead and see what I've already read. So I did finish reading The Cabin at the End of the World. Yay me. These are still not finished. And my Blurb game does continue back here, but I will get to it later. My page 2. So yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit, but that's as far as what I had to update here. So it is time to update my years of publication. So I'm going to start with my ebooks first. So Spy Family 3 was from 2020, and I did read something for 2020. So I will go ahead and update that here. And I'll put 2020 for Spy Family 3. And for this, I like using my Sharpie S-Note highlighters. These are so beautiful. Next, Real Account 6 was from 2017. I already have a 2017, but I'll go ahead and update this one with another 2017. And then my other ebook was Black Card's Choice, and that's from 2025. That's actually an ARC that I received. So 2025, we already had a 2025. So we'll go ahead and put that there. So those are my 3 ebooks. Next, we'll go through my physical books. And again, for those of you who haven't really watched before, I do, to save time, remind myself of where this is taking place for that geography challenge. And I also look up the date and write it on there so it's easy access when I'm doing my journaling videos. So The Cabin at the End of the World is from 2018. And I do have a 2018 book already. So I'll go ahead and add that over here. 2018. Then the Frida book, 2025. I already have a 2025. Then Tiny Threads, 2024. I already have a 2024. So I'll add it down here. Then The Eyes of the Dragon, 1987. 1987. Beautiful. I don't have a 1987. So completed that. Wonderful. then Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead is 2024, which I do have. So I'm going to add that over here. And then My World of the Unknown Ghosts. This is a 2019. Again, these were from my childhood. So the original publication date for these was like the 70s or something. But this particular one, not that my childhood happened in the 70s. Point of clarification. So this is a reissue from 2019. So let's see if I have a 2019. I've already read a 2019. So I'll go ahead and add that one over here. And this does show me, that I do read a lot of new releases. The bulk of what I have is 2024, 2025 kind of ranges. But it's kind of what I do. I do read a lot of newer books. I mean, I have fulfilled some of these dates, but maybe I can make it more of a goal to try and continue reading older works whenever possible. Haven't read The Scavenger Hunt Game yet. Haven't read For the Game of Bookish Cards. Haven't read The Lion Game yet. For Read with Jenna, I will be updating that. So I want to read the January selection, The Life Cycle of the Common Octopus. I already read the February one, gave it 5 stars. This is a love story. Loved it. Haven't read The Dream Hotel, but I want to. Haven't read the names, but I want to. The March and May selections. And then the April, I was not interested in, so I didn't put it down. And then for June, it's A Family Matter, and I do want to read this one. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to here as my June pick for Read with Jenna. I'm going to skip and put that right there. And this is going to be the June one. So that's now updated. Reese's Book Club. I DNF the January selection. I'm interested in March and May. Have not read them. Not interested as of now in the June one, but that might change because it's an author that I like, although I'm not particularly interested in that book, I think. But I reserve the right to change my mind. Kindle Unlimited. I do have to update a few things on here, actually. So let me see. So let me get my purple highlighter. So I did read Real Account Volume 6. This I was able to read. And that manga series, if you are interested in manga and you're interested in Real Account, the entire series is on Kindle Unlimited, which is absolutely wonderful. I read that. I have recently read, spoilers, you guys hear this first, The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie. I did read that, but I read that in the first day of June. So I'm not marking it down, but just know that I read it already. Let's see if there's any others that I read. All right, what else was a KU book? Cabin at the End of the World is a Kindle Unlimited book, but I did not read it through Kindle Unlimited, so I'm not marking that. And I think that's all. Yeah, that's all I had to update then. Okay, I thought there might be more. That's it for the Kindle Unlimited TBR. Never Have I Ever. Still haven't got into that for the scratch off card game. These are the anticipated releases. The Midnight Society Book Club, read January, have not gone into March and May, and I don't know what the next selection is going to be, which is why I haven't filled that out. My bestie book club. Well, some stuff to update on this one. I did read The Cabin at the End of the World, and I gave it 4 stars. And we did pick our next book, which I'm so excited about. And that is Behind Her Eyes. And I told you I had a plan for that eye prompt in the Buzzwordathon covers. And this is the plan. And Behind Her Eyes is also something that is a part of my 23 and 23, maybe? Yep. No, 24 and 24. So I'm excited that my best friend and I picked that. Again, she's helping me with my little TBR challenges, but that's the book we're going to begin reading next for our bestie book club. So let me see if I was able to complete anything for Read Around the World challenge. This is getting a little bit difficult. I find that a lot of the books that I read take place in the same parts of the world. So this is a nonfiction, so there was no location. The main character is from the UK, which I've already read from the UK, and she goes to New York, which I have read something from New York before. A fantasy world setting, can't really add that to anywhere. Tiny threads though, California, so we can definitely add California. Let me see what else I'm going to color in so I can kind of speed you through my coloring process. So I'm going to add California. I'll be coloring that now. And the Tenant was New York City. Again, I've read something in New York City before. This, I believe, is New Hampshire. Wonderful. So I have New Hampshire right here. So I'll color that in. And then for my ebooks, Spy Family 3, Real Account, all of that is like Japan. And I have marked Japan already as something I've read. Black Card's Choice really didn't have a setting like that. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I can update for my Read Around the World challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and color these in, and then I will bring you back. All right, so that is the Read Around the World challenge. This is my first year. I've mentioned this again in previous videos, but it is my first time trying to do a Read Around the World challenge. I kind of stuck for the most part to setting locations, but maybe I do change it up a little bit and I pick or broaden it up to either setting locations or where the author is from. Maybe that's something I can do. Not sure how I want to do this next year, but I'm definitely starting to see that one, a lot of the books that I read don't have a specific setting or place, and two, the ones that do have that, it's a lot of the same places over and over again. So I'm not sure how I will do this next year. So my 5-star reads, bad news is I did not have any 5-star reads in the month of May. I had quite a few 4 stars, but no 5 stars, so I can't really update this. The good news is that June is looking great so far because I've finished 2 books and both have been 5 stars. So something good is happening. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do the tackle your TBR. Let me grab one of these for that. All right, so let's see what we can do here. So we have the Eyes of the Dragon. And let me see what I might want to use that for. Over 360 pages. Not sure if this fulfills that. Well, yes, it does. So I think I'm going to use the Eyes of the Dragon for that. So number 15, the Eyes of the Dragon. And that's 428 to 506. And I did give this 4 stars. There we go. So next is Tiny Threads. Multiple timelines, finish a series, indie yourself published. Shortest book on your TBR. That was probably the Ghosts one. So I'm going to go ahead and add that as number 33. That's going to be World of the Unknown. Ghosts. And I read that 5:30 to 5:31. And I gave that 3 stars. Okay, so I was still trying to find Tiny Threads. Find a place for Tiny Threads. Color in the title. For color in the title, I'm going to put Black Card's Choice. So let me jump to that. So 46 will be Black Card's Choice. And that's 531. I gave that 4 stars. Okay, let me continue looking for something for Tiny Threads. Well, there's flowers on the cover, which will put Everyone Who Can Forgive Me is Dead. So I am looking for Tiny Threads, but I keep finding all these other ones. So let's just do that. Okay, I sadly only gave that 2 stars. Okay. Start of a series, emotional, small town. It has a 2-word title, so I might do that. This is going to be 56. Tiny Threads. And that was 5:07 to 5:13. And I did give this 3 stars. Okay. So I finally got that one. Now I'm moving on to the Tenant. So let's go back here to see multiple timelines. Finish a series, end yourself published. Friend favorite, won an award, set in your country. or your city, a hyped book. She's a hyped author. Intimidating partner or friend pick. I'm going to go ahead and put it for that because I did that as a buddy read with my booktube friends. So that'll be 45, The Tenant. And that one's 516. The 517. And I gave it 4 stars. Okay, then Real Account Volume 6. Okay. Multiple timelines. Finish a series. Friend favorite. Won an award. Set in your country. Hyped. Intimidating. Most anticipated. Start a series. Person of color. Representation. Love and friendship. Small town. Found family. Multiple authors. I'm going to go ahead and put it as an Asian book here. Okay. For 1, the 518. I did give this one 4 stars. I enjoyed this one a lot. Then Everyone Who Could Forgive Me Is Dead. I did. The Cabin at the End of the World. Okay. Multiple timelines. I think that'll work because at times we are in the past. So that'll be number 17, which I don't have space for here. So I'm going to put it down here. My numbering for this isn't great. That one's going to be multiple timelines. I did give that one 4 stars. And it's Cabin at the End of the World. And I did read that 518 to 530. Perfect. Then The World of Unknown Ghosts I did. Black Card's Choice I did. And now I'm just waiting on Spy Family. So these are all done. Finish a series. Have not finished that. Friend favorite. I do have a lot of friends who love Spy Family, so I'm going to go ahead and put it as my 35 friend favorite. And that's 531 to 531. And I did give this one 4 stars. I thought it was a really good installment in the series. And perfect. I am heading toward this part already, so I think for these few, I'm going to have to get another card to be able to squeeze them all in. All right, new month, new favorite. So, although I did not have a 5-star, I did have a favorite of the month. And although it was pretty close, I am going to have to say my favorite for the month of May was The Tenant. That one came in as my favorite for the month of May. Really, really enjoyed The Tenant. Not a 5-star, not one of her best, but I enjoyed it. And then for my bracket, I'm gonna get another copy of the Tenant sticker. and it will be my favorite for the month of May. All right, so let's go ahead and erase a little bit over here. And we're going to put May right here. Okay. Top 10 books of 25. Can't commit to any yet. All right. So let's go ahead and see how this went. So I did read The Cabin at the End of the World. I did read Eyes of the Dragon. I did finish Picture of Dorian Gray, but not in May. I actually finished it the first day of June, so that one will get marked off next month. The Inheritance I am reading now. I did read The Tenant. ABC Murders, The Party, Listen for the Light, Great Big Beautiful. Tiny Threads. Read that. Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. I did read that one. Real Account 6. I did read that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I am missing 3 that I did read. So I'll go ahead and add those to here. The World of the Unknown Ghosts. Black Card's Choice. And Spy Family. Volume 3. So I will go ahead and add those, and now I just need to count to make sure that there are 9 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And let's see if we were able to complete bingo. All right. A book with a pink cover. I can use The Tenant, so that's good. A book that you have been putting off. Absolutely. The Cabin at the End of the World. A book with a mother-daughter relationship. Mother-daughter relationship. No. A book written by an AAPI author. Yes. I have 2 choices for that. A book set in a place you want to visit for vacation. Well, I'm always in the mood to visit New York, so I could technically put that. It's also a book set in Japan. I do want to visit Japan on vacation. A book by a local author. Don't have that. A book about family relationships. I guess I could do The Eyes of the Dragon for that. And a book with an odd number of pages. Let's see if Tiny Threads, because I haven't picked that one yet. How's that? Odd number of pages. 240, so it's even. Let's see, Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. $2.92. Let me see. Real Account or Spy Family. Nope. Spy Family does not have an odd number. Neither does Real Account. How interesting. Let's see Black Card's Choice. 454. None of them have odd numbers. Okay, so let me try. So for book with a pink cover, let me see how I did it last month. Okay, good. So I'm going to put The Tenant. Then book I've been putting off, The Cabin at the End of the World. Mother-daughter relationship, I'm going to leave blank. Okay, here I'm going to put Spy Family, Volume 3. A book set in a place you want to visit. I'm going to put Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. A book by a local or no about family relationships. The Eyes of the Dragon. And a book with odd number of pages. Can't believe it. I don't have any. So let's see what happened with the bingo. I think I only got it twice. So we have bingo this way. And we have bingo this way. And that's it. Couldn't get this one. Couldn't get this one. So I got 2 bingos. I had 3 last month. But not bad. We were able to get it. All right, so now I have to update June. So I'm going to go ahead and look at everything on my journal. I will fast forward you through this process as I update June. All right, guys, so those are most of the books that I have planned to read in June. But again, there are a lot of things carrying over from previous months that I might want to add eventually, because I do, as you guys know, allow myself time for mood reading. So let's move on ahead. So Now I'm going to write down, which I've already tallied. I do a lot of this again ahead of time to make sure that it eases this journaling process. So for the month of May, I did read a total of 2,280 pages. So a bit more than last month, even though I still read 9 books. 5 of those were novels. 1 of those was a novella. 3 of those were manga and or graphic novel type of books. My average rating for this month was a 3.56. So my best month has definitely been February, and my worst month, January, but not bad. New to me authors, I read 3. Authors that are familiar to me were 6. New releases was 1, and it's really like an arc. Kindle reads were 3 things that I read on my Kindle. Audio reads, purely audio, 0. Combo reads where I had the audio at some point and physically read at another point, which is my preferred method of reading, 5 books. And then physical reads only were 4. So those are some rough stats for the month of May. This was the Winter Ween Challenge. Book bingo. Let's see if I was able to complete any of these. A book over 600 pages. Nope. Very rare for me. A book with more than 2 authors. Nope. A book that has been banned. No. A book that is a Newbery Award winner. Nope. A book set during World War II. No. A book written by a celebrity. No. A book with a color in the title. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and add for this one number 18, and that is Black Cards Voice. And that's really all I can add. Still missing a couple of those for generic book bingo. For Roll Your Read game, have not read The Wedding People just yet. For my thrillers, let's see if I can do any of these. A school setting, not particularly. School setting, trying to think. School setting. Neighbors, I can totally add the Tenant for this. I think it's perfect. Okay. Memory loss, not sure I can add anything. Lie in the title. Trouble in Paradise. I always have a hard time with this one. A creepy kid. There are kids, but they're not creepy. Bad guy point of view. Bad guy point of view. Not really. Okay, I guess that's really all I can add for these thriller challenges. Oprah's Book Club. Nothing to update here. Good Morning America. Nothing to update for this one. Kayla's Besties Book Club. Still haven't gotten to these. Didn't make any progress on these that carried over from middle grade March and then from old school April. Still, though, I did add Scary Stories 3 and Goosebumps. Those are 2 that I do want to get to at some point. So I do have some updates for my buddy reads. So I did update The Eyes of the Dragon, which was my husband and I's buddy read. And then for the Tenant, I do want to update this one. And I basically, for this one, what I'm printing out for these is my thumbnails. Decided that would look nice. And I could do that. So let me update this. I did give this one 4 stars. And I'm going to write down that this was a buddy read with booktube friends, Dee and Michelle. All right. And this was May 2025. All right, so that is my buddy reads. I will be doing another buddy read in June with another booktube friend, Jackie from the Reading Wordsmith, and we will be reading The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. And yes, I am petrified. I do not read historical fiction, but I am trying to read a little bit more widely. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'll put our thumbnail once we do a live for that, and I'm excited to do another buddy read. And then eventually I am doing another buddy read with my husband that will go down here. Not sure if I'll be able to do that in June or it'll carry over to July. But I will be reading Good Omens with my husband, as The Eyes of the Dragon was my pick and Good Omens is his pick. All right, so the Blurb game gets a little bit of an update. So I still haven't read Loteria, and I still haven't read the R.L. Stine Goosebumps, which I kind of left blank to give myself some room there. But I do have a couple more that I need to update. So let me go ahead and do that. So I did read, I'm going to put this down here, do this one. I did read The Tenant. So I'm going to add The Tenant over here. And that was blurbed by Alice Feeney. So I will be reading Rock, Paper, Scissors, which I have not read, believe it or not. And this is going to go this way. And this is going to get highlighted. And this is going to get underlined because it's a title. And I did also read, so I need another set. I might need to go digging in another book. I don't have enough here. Yeah, let me see if my other ones have some. Am I running out completely? I might be running out, guys. I might be running out. Okay, so we have 2 of these left. Thankfully, but I believe I'm close to running out. All right, so I also did read Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. So Let's add that. And that was Blurb by Andrea Bartz. And I have on my TBR The Spare Room, so I will be adding that. So let me highlight that I did read Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead. And that will be recommending that to me. All right. So that's that for the Blurb game. Summerween is happening July 5th through the 12th, so I still need to build my TBR for this. I finally got my beautiful bookmark in, which I ordered for this event. And of course, if you search up the Summerween videos from Gabby Reads, there's all the information for this readathon. I do participate in Winterween and Summerween all the time. It's one of my favorite readathons. So I still have to build my TBR, but I'm waiting until I get a little closer to do that. Lots of exciting stuff with Summerween happening. I will be participating in the Literary Love Book Club read, which is the book club the brand new book club that my booktube friend Jen has created. And we will be reading Picnic at Hanging Rock. And once I read that, I do want to decorate this and kind of have a new page for the book club on here. And yeah, we have reached the end of the update. It always gives me so much satisfaction to update my reading journal and revisit a little bit of my month and document everything that I'm reading. This is maybe my 7th or 8th reading journal. Each year I change a few things and add and take away. I'm already thinking of spreads that I want to make sure I add for my next reading journal, and some spreads that I want to edit out or change for next year as well. But yeah, that was the update to my month of May. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. If you're still here with me, thank you so much. Hope you got some inspiration. Hope you found some ideas for your reading journal. I would love to hear from a lot of you. I know these videos get a lot of views, but I don't always hear from a lot of you. What are some spreads that you include in your journal? What are some that maybe I should include in mine? I do enjoy watching these types of videos and kind of just learning a little bit more of what people do for their reading journals. I find it so inspiring. Please consider liking this video. Also, please leave me a comment down below so that I know what you thought of the video and what you'd like to see more from me when it comes to these planning videos. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. It really does help my channel. But I do appreciate you being here and spending some of your time with me today. Thank you so much. I look forward to the next one, guys. Bye.